So the for loop is definitely the most popular one. You're going to see it most often. So I'm going to copy out some of the elements that we've used within here. We're going to put it in Fun 3, so that's why I've added in another button. So really, a lot of this stuff, it's going to look really very similar. So there's going to be some subtle differences here within the for loop. So let's take a look at the for loop. And the previous one, we've been looking at a value of a, but this time we're coming in and we need to set that value within the loop itself. So previously we did something like I equals 0. So this time we can do something like I equals a, or something like that, to set the value of I to be equal to whatever is being presented here within the HTML element. So that's the first part we need to do. We set the condition right away, or we set the starting point right away. Next we look at the condition. So we're going to do this loop while I is less than 10. So be consistent with the other ones. And of course, the third thing that we need to do in order to set a loop is we need to have increments. So we need to have a way to increment those values of I, so eventually the loop can stop and it can break. So essentially this is how to set up a for loop, and they're all going to be contained within that same way. And just to show you what's going to happen now, whenever I click it, so we're getting that same thing. And the interesting thing here is that a is not increasing, so I do need to update that, so in order to be consistent with the other ones. So really same thing here, and this is not while loop, this is for loop. So refresh it again. So for loop, do loop, while loop. Always have to have those three pieces of content, those pieces of information. So we have to set our initial starting value, then we need to set our condition that gets met, and then we have to have an increment of that value so that we can break out of the loop. And essentially that's how you set up loops within JavaScript.